Star Wars Unlimited enthusiasts, welcome to today's video. We're taking a look at updated Luke JTL data vault with the cards from Ashes of the Empire. Yes, so far we have looked at only leaders from Ashes of the Empire. Cad, Ezra, the Luke Skywalker from Ash. But I thought today, let's take a look at some of the older leaders we still have in rotation and see how they got buffed up with the cards from Ashes of the Empire. And the first leader that came to my mind is Luke JTL, our Luke piloting leader. Still, in my opinion, a very strong leader and potentially capable of winning some good games in this upcoming format, especially with the Galactic Championship right around the corner. The week I'm recording this, it is pre-release weekend, so we are right now doing all our pre-releases, with next week being the official release of Ashes of the Empire and then the Galactic Championship. So very interesting to see exactly what everyone is bringing for Galactic Championship and seeing what takes it all. So let's take a look at the deck, then jump to Carabas for that best 2 out of 3. We talked about Luke before, but if you haven't seen him yet for GTL or you're just very new into the game, Luke states on his frontside action, if you attack with a fighter unit this phase, deal 1 damage to a unit. He is one of the unique leaders from GTL that had the ability to, 1, play themselves as a normal unit, mainly if he flips himself like what you think of your typical leader. He can come out as a 5/6 vanilla, does nothing. But what's more impactful for JTL is the ability for these leaders to flip onto vehicles and then become upgrades to those vehicles and turn that vehicle into a leader unit. The only one who doesn't do that is Poe, but that's because Poe has the ability to flip between each and every single different vehicle. He doesn't really have to just stick to one vehicle. So Luke, when you control 6 or more resources flip, we want to deploy him as an upgrade. There are very rare times you can flip him and just turn him into a vanilla if the game state turns to that point where it's more impactful for you to flip him and turn him into his vanilla, but most of the time you want to flip him onto the fighter. Deploy this leader as an upgrade onto a friendly vehicle unit without a pilot onto it. He gives that ship a +4/+5 upgrade bonus. He turns that fighter into a vehicle unit, and he cannot be upgraded hate off of his vehicle. Where normal JTL leaders can be upgrade hate with like the Constable, System Shock, or sorry, not System Shock because that actually doesn't work, but anything like that, like the Constable, the Overcharged ship, those can all knock off leaders from JTL, except for Luke Skywalker. The only way to get Luke Skywalker off to his fighter, you have to directly kill him with direct hit, direct damage, anything that can do damage to a leader unit is the only way to get him off of his fighter. And then when he's attached to a fighter on attack, you can deal 3 damage to any unit on the board state. So it's just a very powerful ping strategy from his front and his backside. We're running Data Vault. That is kind of his new meta. That's been his meta since his official release from JTL, that he's kind of been with Data Vault. Then again, that gives you a lot more fighters to play around with, especially in a deck where you need to see fighters. So our minimum deck size has to be 60 cards. For our main deck, we're running triple R2-D2 of piloting for 0, and then this upgrade can be played onto a friendly vehicle unit with a pilot on it. So if we happen to flip Luke onto a fighter, you can put R2 under there, and attach unit gains you may play or deploy 1 additional pilot on this unit. So for example, if you put R2 under a unit and it doesn't have a pilot yet on it, you can then just flip Luke and put that under the unit that R2 is on, thanks to his effect. We have triple Captain Typho for Sentinel. When this unit is attacked, you may disclose green-white. If you do, heal 1 damage from your base. Double Admiral Akbar, the new legendary from Ash. When play, you may defeat this unit. If you do, switch type 10 cards to your deck for any number of space units with a combined cost of 5 or less and play each of them for free. Now, while it's not great to hear that you have a 5 cost 6/6 that blows itself up when played to search vehicle search space units, it's a very nice card for Luke Skywalker because a lot of our fighters are extremely cheap. So we're being able to play about 2 fighters off of Ackbar. So if our opponent does have a way to clear out our board before we get to flip on that turn, we can go Ackbar turn 5, kill Ackbar, play out 2 ships, and then be able to go from there. Potentially play 1 with some of our 4 cost and higher fighters that we have, but still, this is very nice to refill our board state with at least 2 fighters on the board, allowing Luke then next turn to flip and put himself onto one of them. So even though he kills himself, I still think it's a very good card for exactly Luke JTL. I don't know what our decks can actually abuse him the best. I think Luke JTL does it the best. Triple Chewbacca with piloting of 3 and white. He does have the exact same ability that he does have on his upgrade side of attached unit gains its unit can't be defeated or returned to the hand by enemy card abilities, meaning that Chewbacca has to be deleted off of the fighter to then remove that effect. So Chewbacca doesn't protect himself from getting bounced back or removed or anything like that. Chewbacca just protects the fighter from getting killed by card effects and being bounced back to your hand. That can be very much of a nuisance for many different deck strategies to try to get rid of a stagnant fighter that just sits there every turn that can't be literally destroyed by card abilities. Now, he does have the exact same effect on his vanilla side, but most of the time we want to be piloting Chewbacca. And then finally, triple Synthekaz. When played, you may attack with this unit, attack with a unit, and then does have plot. So typically on our 6th turn, we flip Luke, put him on a fighter, plot out Synthekaz, and have Luke immediately swing with that fighter. For our space units, our majority of our deck here is fighters. Triple black one of when this unit's upgrade gets +1. We don't care about the on attack trigger. We do not have any Podamerons. Triple green leader of when defeated, deal 2 damage to a unit. A very good card that we're going to see in a lot of red heroic strategies in this upcoming format is going to be green leader 100%. A 2 cost 3/1 that when defeated deal 2 damage to a unit is just super nice. Triple Jedi Starfighter, on attack may deal 1 damage to a space unit. Triple Red Squadron Y-Wing, on attack deal 3 indirect damage to the defender. Triple Blue Leader with Ambush, and then when played you may pay 2. If you do, move this unit to the ground arena and give it 2 experience tokens to it. I will always remind you folks, you can chain how these effects work. If you have 5 resources, you can go Blue Leader, pay the extra 2, bring Blue Leader to the ground, give him the 2 advantage tokens, and then have him ambush something on the ground. You do not have to ambush first and then go to ground. You could go to ground and then ambush. Just be mindful on that one. Triple Red 5 and on attack deal 2 damage to a damage unit. This is very good to combo with the Luke Skywalker. If you can get Luke onto Red 5, this is a very damaging combination because Luke Skywalker can use his ability first on his fighter to deal 3 damage to a unit, and then you can use Red 5's ability afterwards to then do 2 more damage to that damage unit. Meaning a unit can take 5 damage on 1 swing of Luke Skywalker, which is pretty nice. Triple Sabine's Masterpiece. We only care about green and red in this on its attack. So green, it give a unit an experience token including itself, and red deal 1 damage to a unit or a base. Double B Wing Skirmisher, or when played, deal 1 damage up to 2 space units. Triple Danger Squadron Wingman. This is of course another new card from Ash. On attack, you may give an advantage token to another unit. Now I can't give it to itself, and the one caveat here is that if you don't have another space unit to give an advantage token to, this doesn't really work out great. But if you can get stabilizing a couple of different space units, you can have the Danger Squadron attack, give an advantage token to a unit, especially if that unit hasn't attacked yet, removing the already existing advantage token on it, you could temptingly swing and give 2 advantage tokens. The whole kind of gimmick here is that you're going to swing and give out advantage tokens to a bunch of different guys, allowing you to do extra 1+ damage in space. So again, there's a reason why I think, in my opinion, Vigilance decks are going to be running Hyperspace Disaster in their sideboards, if not main boards, to deal with space strategy, because I do not think they are going away. I do think Boba and Luke, both from JTL, are still going to be viable in this upcoming meta. Triple Resistance Blue Squadron. When played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of friendly space units. This does include itself, so if you play and you have itself and another space unit, you do 2 damage or something. And finally, Double 𝐒𝐓𝐃 Ether Sprite with Saboteur. Then when played, you may defeat any number of upgrades on a unit. So we could defeat opponent JTL upgrades, we could defeat bench tokens, experience, shields, whatever it may be. We could just defeat those upgrades. For our events, we have Triple Hot Shot Maneuver. Choose a friendly unit for each of its on-attack abilities. Deal 2 damage to a different enemy unit, then attack with that chosen unit. All of our fighters only have 1 on-attack skill, so we'll only be able to do 2 damage or something, but then we immediately get to swing with the fighter, which is still very nice, allowing us to do some double attack. If we have this with Luke Skywalker and an on-attack fighter, we can do 4 damage to something because we'll have 2 on-attack triggers, Luke's on-attack trigger, and then the fighter's on-attack trigger. Double System Shock, defeat a non-leader upgrade attached to a unit. If you do 1 damage to a unit, this is just nice to get rid of 𝐂𝐐�. If we run into those Vigilance Villainy decks, we do want to get rid of the 𝐂𝐝 trigger that get attached to us from time to time, so we do want to get rid of those. Our deck is majority space, so that's why we're playing triple air superiority. If you control more space units than your opponent, deal 4 damage to a ground unit that opponent controls. Because we're so heavy in space and very light on ground, our opponent can manipulate that by playing very heavy in the ground, beating us in the ground before we can beat them in the space. So having this to deal with ground units is very nice. Double stay on target. Attack with a vehicle unit. For this attack, gets +2 and gains on it. When the unit deals damage to a base, draw a card. Just a nice way to do a little more chip damage to your opponent and then gain a little bit of advantage by drawing a single card. And finally, folks, we're red. Why are we not playing Aggressive Negotiations? Triple Aggressive Negotiation. Attack with a unit. For this attack, gets +1 for each card in your hand. This combination with the Luke Skywalker, especially on like your 7th turn, is just super powerful, folks. This card definitely just needs to get banned. Every red deck's going to run it. Some decks are probably going to main it even out of aspect or even side it out of aspect just because it can clean up games super easy. It's a nuisance of a card, and why we have yet to see it to get banned is beyond me. And finally, I'm running 2 upgrades. This is kind of debatable if you really want upgrades in Luke JTL. I don't mind these ones. So Sudden Ferocity of Plot, giving you +3 to the attack. So if we don't see the 𝐒𝐿 and we see the Sudden Ferocity, we can put the Sudden Ferocity in our resources, plot it out when we flip the Luke Skywalker onto a fighter, and give an extra +3 attack for the Luke Skywalker to hit a little harder rather than using the 𝐒𝐿. Why I think 𝐒𝐿 is better because that immediately gives us an instantaneous attack. The extra +3 is not a horrible thing to think about when Luke Skywalker is a menace to get out of the space arena. So giving him extra 3 attack and then being able to swing is just super nice. So I'm running 2 of them, but it could be debatable that you could remove them all together. For the sideboard, I'm running 1 additional System Shock in case we run into some more nuisance upgrades we need to get rid of. 2 Karis, Mimic of Hidden, and when defeated, you may disclose red-white. If you do you create a Ready Spy token. Again, if we want to see a little more ground stuff, we can run this. If, for instance, we don't feel like the Akbar is good enough for us, we can drop the Akbar and put in the Karis. Triple Reckless Sacrifice. Discard a unit from your hand, deal 5 damage to a unit that costs more than the discarded card. So basically, we could discard a lot of our little ships to then ping guys with big cost guys for 5 damage, which isn't, again, not too bad of a thing here, but I'm not reckoning it really like it in the main deck. I like it for a side deck option if we need to do more chip ping damage. Triple Haymaker. This one's also debatable for your sideboard because, again, this is so kind of niche for how our deck works. Our deck is heavy in space, not heavy in ground. So if our opponent is playing heavy in ground, Haymaker really isn't going to be useful to us because given experience token to a friendly unit, that unit deals damage equal to a power to an enemy unit in the same arena. So if we give Haymaker to a space unit, we can't just use the damage threshold to hit a ground unit. But if our opponent is pretty heavy in space as well, we can bring in our Haymakers to allow us to counteract their heavy space presence, allowing us to get that extra additional attack on our +1/+1 on our unit, and then being able to then be able to blow up potentially one of our opponent's units as well. So we have that coming down. So I'm not completely sold on this one being very good. You could probably drop it out and all of that. So each its own. Side decks are kind of how you feel the meta is going or anything like that. And then finally, one more kit fits those Aether Sprite in case we want some more upgrade hate. One thing I did see from my research, some people are playing double crossed in their side decks. That is the one where you and your opponents swap a unit, and whoever got the lowest cost unit swapped to them creates credit tokens based on the difference. So of the swap costs. So there is that one. I'm not too sold on that one being good, but there is that for you all if you want to throw that into your side decks. But nonetheless, guys, that is my Luke JTL Data Vault deck. Let's jump to Carabas for that all-important best 2 out of 3. Alright, folks, welcome to our game. We got some Cad Bane. We're going to start, of course, ourselves. This is not too bad of a hand here. I think we'll keep. We'll put the Aether Spread away. And let's put away the B-Wing. We'll put out the Y-Wing, of course. We'll claim the initiative here. Yadcat can ping a damage to it. We'll put away... We'll put away... I guess we'll put away an air superiority. We're going to swing. We're going to just swing here, dealing the 3 indirect damage. Now, my whole kind of dangerous purpose here of doing that over potentially hitting with the air superiority is because of the way this leader works. We're going to put out red 5 here. It's because they do have a lot of interesting abilities to hit stuff with. Like they do have... Well, that's an interesting we'll claim. System Shock's pretty nice. We'll put away black 1. Alright, so what I mean is that this Cad Bane is, if you haven't seen it yet, action, tap it, deal 1 damage to you and 2 remaining HP. Chose 6 or more resource, flip him on 4/7. He does the exact same thing on his backside with Overwhelm. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to you and 2 or more remaining HP. The whole kind of danger is that this deck has a lot of red cards like Collateral Damage, the new droid card from Ashes of the Empire. So it has all of access to a lot of different things that can kind of hit it that are very much a nuisance. So a lot of like chip damage cards that it has access to. It's very interesting to see. I tried a blue version. Now I played a Data Vault version, and now we're seeing a version running yellow, which is pretty interesting. We'll ping that for 1. The Luke, we're going to get hit with the Y-Wing for 1 more damage. Again, he can push the damage threshold all the way up to 2 or more. So once I reach 1 health point remaining, he's not allowed to ping me for anything more. We'll put out the B-Wing and ping both of those. We will pass. We'll put a System Shock away, a Danger Squadron. We do have Blue Leader as well. It's pretty nice. So collateral damage, 2 damage to red 5. So he's just knocking out red 5 just so it doesn't become a nuisance for him here and all that. And then 2 damage to the B-Wing. We're going to have the B-Wing kill off the AT Hauler here. That does allow us to play the stolen AT Hauler for free, as per the AT Hauler's effect. So he's going to arrest his own AT Hauler so he gets it back. Wow, that's kind of a nuisance. Alright, so we could play this, and then we could pay the 2 to trigger to put it to the ground, ignoring its ambushing condition. That puts us right on the ground there. So we could then put the Sudden Ferocity away. Yes, it does mean we have to deal with this stolen AT Hauler now again, alongside, of course, the IG-2000. But my whole gimmick here is I now have this on the ground with the ability to flip Luke Skywalker onto it, giving me a pretty good just powerhouse effect here. So we're going to deploy Luke as a pilot, putting it on there. Then we're going to trigger our Sudden Ferocity, giving us basically a 12-10 Luke Skywalker. And then we can go this to immediately attack. We could then deal 3 damage to the AT Hauler, drawing 1 more card here. Again, this is for each friendly space unit that is on our board state. We just claim the initiative here, folks, and we win the game. This is, that is 35 right then and there. There's no way he can kill this because he can't knock off the Luke Skywalker with upgrade hate. He can knock out the Sudden Ferocity and the experience tokens, but that's really about it. And this Cad Bane can't do anything against it. He can flip to deal 1 damage and then punch it. At the most, he could do 5 damage to the Luke, plus whatever else he's got in his hand. Again, Luke Skywalker being a leader unit, meaning that the unit gains the leader keyword is just very, very nice overall. So, I mean, he claimed the initiative here. Nothing we could do, so we're just going to pass on that. Yeah, we pretty much won. We could put the Danger Squadron away. Well, he did get a hold for questioning, which is quite painful there. I mean, I'm not dead here still. I mean, that's not like heavily dangerous. He did get rid of the Blue Squadron here. We could put up Black 1. The whole aspect is he knows I have Hot Shot Maneuver. The thing was he couldn't get rid of Hot Shot Maneuver because Blue Leader is green-white. So he can only get rid of green-white stuff. And he knows I just claim the initiative and I win. That's the thing. So I just claim here. Yeah, so the max he can do here is just this. I don't know if he has a collateral damage that is 3, so at most he can do 5 on his backside, putting me to 6, plus the 2 from collateral damage. So IG 2000, swinging, Cad Bane coming down, swinging, dealing another damage, 000. Yep, we could just skip resourcing here if we wanted to. We could do this to do that, then attack, and then deal 3 there and win the game. Okay, game 2. Alright, so do we want to run Reckless Sacrifice? I think we can run down the Ether Sprite down to 1 of. We might just drop the Ether Sprite altogether. I didn't see like any real major upgrade hate cards in here. I'm going to run 2 Reckless Sacrifice just to deal with that stolen AT Hauler. The AT Hauler, I believe, is a 3-drop, so any one of our 2 cost cards can easily be able to kill it. I would like to throw in another one, if I'm being honest. Maybe we drop Black 1 down to 1 and throw in a 3rd Reckless Sacrifice just so that we have that ability. So we're going to go right to ready here. But yeah, I mean, this is just the power of this one. I don't know what color really works for Cad Bane here. All right, yeah, we can keep this hand. We'll get rid of a Reckless Sacrifice, and we're gonna have to get rid of the R2-D2 here. I hate it, but we literally have the Chewbacca in our hand, so we can play out Black 1. The problem is if he goes Cad here, that immediately gives me initiative. All right, so we're just gonna pass. We do need more fighters. Reckless Sacrifice is pretty nice here. So is Hot Shot. We're gonna put away the Hot Shot. Arrest. Now he does get rid. Unfortunately, he can't get rid of the Chewbacca. That is important. Oh no, he can. It's Red Heroic. But he could also get rid of Aggressive Negotiation. My guess what he's going to go for the Chewbacca. I just remember right. This is Red Heroic. He can target Heroic. It has to share the exact same aspects. Aggressive Negotiations, which is what I kind of thought he was going to go after. So we're just going to put the Chewbacca under there. We're going to claim the initiative here. Yeah, we take 2 damage, but eh. We'll put the Jedi Starfighter away. We're gonna go this to swing for 8. Oh my goodness, it's Admiral Akbar! And we're gonna put out the Y-Wing. Luke effect ping. Ooh, ambush. So that should kill off the Chewbacca. We can put the Sudden Ferocity away. Remember, we have to discard a low-cost unit. We can't just discard Admiral Akbar here. We're going to swing. We're going to then deal our 1 damage at least to the base. Plus then, of course, our 3 indirect damage. So it looks like our opponent just pumped it all to the base. We're going to go Admiral Akbar. And we're going to trigger the blow up Admiral Akbar. And allow us to play 1 unit. Why don't we put out the Blue Squadron, and then we could just ping that immediately off, giving us this 3-4 in space, which is pretty nice. We're going to claim. Black Sun Patroller with Boba Fett to immediately be able to kill off the Y-Wing. I'm going to put away... The Reckless now comes in very handy because of what we have. Let's put away Air Superiority. Let's flip Luke Skywalker. Let's trigger to put a plot onto him. Let's make him a 10-9. Let's make him very impactful. Alright, our opponent's swung is going to do that much damage to us. Let's go Reckless Sacrifice, pitch immediately to kill that off the board. The IG, swing, 3 damage, claim. I mean, we win this game here, unless he's got a way to hit us for 1 more damage. We have an instantaneous win here. We'll put away the B-Wing. I mean, we swing, we go 3 damage, win game. Well, folks, that's the power of Luke JTL Data Vault. Yeah, he's still amazing, folks. He's just still absolutely amazing. He's still very much a menace for you to get through. He's just extremely powerful. I mean, what else is there to say about this leader except he's good. This combination is so good, and it will be so sad for me once it rotates out. Not mentioning that if Icons comes out before Homeworlds, and Icon has some pretty good reprints coming into it, especially with Open Fire, this deck gets some more really good buffs. That Cad Bane definitely gets more buffs when Icons comes out because of the reprint of Open Fire back into the game state. But yeah, I mean, what's more to say about it, folks? Just set up a couple fighters, flip Luke over, and then go ham. We saw Akbar, he got us a guy, which is important because it allowed us to get a fighter onto the board state. But yeah, I mean, you just can't ignore this leader. I mean, I think honestly the Sudden Ferocities weren't actually all that bad. They actually did give us a lot of pump towards the end of that game state to allow us to actually win the game. So yeah, here I was joking. Maybe Sudden Ferocity is not really good for this deck, only to say, oh wow, it actually just won us the game. Both times bringing out Sudden Ferocity won us that game. We were very close of having to get to force to game number 3 there, but it was a really good game nonetheless. It was a really good game. Yeah, this leader's just amazing. Nothing more to say about it. I love the JTL leaders. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I really love what they can do. It's still very sad we just don't have any new type of these leaders. They had a good chance to make a Sebulba style leader from when they did Law, as well making Sebulba a JTL style leader, as well as making a JTL style card where like upgrade cards here where you have a vanilla and then you have play it for normal cost or play it for the Python cost when they did the Anakin Skywalker from Law as well. But for some reason they didn't decide to do either of those cards as Law style cards or JTL style cards. So guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on Luke JTL Data Vault, on the gameplay, and your thoughts of this JTL leader and the Boba JTL leader going into this upcoming meta. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Long Dragons TCG.